Welcome to another episode of Put Me On Game Podcast. I'm your host, Chesterr, and with me today I got family here.
Yes, sir.
Isaiah Bennett, man. How you feeling,
good,
man?
bro. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. This is one of the ones I've been waiting on, man. I was trying to figure out, man, like, dang, I ain't got no more episodes for season 3. And then we was at the which one? Because I didn't saw you a couple times.
Was that? We was at June.
I think it was at the camp.
Yep,
we was at the camp. We was talking. I was like, yo, bro, good to meet you. You know, everybody meet off Instagram and everything. Right. And then it was like, yeah, bro, let's do an episode. I'm like, why didn't I think about that before? Well, man, we here.
Yeah, we here, bro. We here.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity.
No problem, brother, man. How you doing with your mentals, man? Physically, spiritually, emotionally. Physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. I think that's the 4. It's either 4 or 5 I go through, like, just overall as a person, like, how are you just feeling?
I'm happy to say, like, at this point in my life, between emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually, like, I'm at the best spot I've probably been ever. And it took a lot for me to be able to get to this point due to, obviously, certain circumstances in the past or whatever, these past 2-3 years. But, like, I'm happy, bro. Like, I wake up every day, like, get to roll out of bed, and, like, yo, like, I could drop down to my knees and just be like, yo, I'm happy every day. Like, God has put so many different things in my life now, and I'm good.
That's such a blessing to hear, brother, man. Especially at your age too, bro. Because it's your 21 is different than my 21. Granted, I ain't too much older, but it's like, man, like, we ain't have to worry about all this Instagram and the rumors and people talking, especially like, you know, in your field and everything. And it's just like, bro, it's a lot.
It's tough. And like, I got to experience that at such a young age. Like, it was kind of like it happened overnight, like that overnight success, and then boom, thrown in. And like, now, like, if I go on Twitter, I could look my name up and I see people talking about this with me playing ball, or
people you've never seen or heard about before.
You know what I'm saying? Now, like, I can Google myself, and I got trading cards. People selling my
really,
jewelry, like, on like, it's ridiculous.
Oh, now I got a cop one. I ain't know that.
I was 16.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I end up, like, it's a lot of stuff that, like, now looking back, like, and there's nothing nobody could do about it because it just happened. But like, protecting me, my mental at this point now, like, is the main thing, because like I've been exposed to so many different things, but now, like, I'm locked in, like, you know what I'm saying? I trust my maker, and I know what's gonna happen for me down the road if I just keep putting in my work.
How does that feel though? Like, your own trading card, like, your name is being out there, you know, with the just whatever out there in the world. It's just like, you know, certain people, they just play a sport or they just doing something in the world and, like, they get out there, you know.
Right.
But it's like, how? Because I ain't gonna lie, your family's humble.
Man.
I love you, Grant, your mama, your dad. It's just like, everybody's just like, what's that one show? The not Family Matters, but y'all just like, everybody got their own thing and doing their own thing and just so successful and dope. But how do you, not speaking about them, how do you stay so humble as you do with and grounded with everything?
I would have to say it just comes from my roots. It starts with mom and dad. I seen my parents go get it. They are the biggest God-fearing, I call them God-fearing go-getters. Like, that's what I see. Like, so my dad just hustles and gets his way, gets his stuff done. My mom the same way, being the head of her department at FTCC. You know what I'm saying? So watching her take care of all of us and get her PhD with no complaints.
That's
you know
the
what I'm saying?
thing.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I seen her late nights typing up papers while trying to cook meals, and we running around the house breaking stuff. And then my brother, obviously, like, you know what I'm saying? He could, I honestly feel like Grant could just really talk his stuff at any given time, and I've never heard it.
I be wanting him to.
And
I be wanting him to.
And that's me too. That's the bad conscience on the shoulder sometimes. I'd be like, yo, G, like, sometimes you, just like J. Cole, sometimes you got to remind these people who you rocking with, like, who you talking to. So, but then it just trickles down. Like, it's the whole family thing, man. We all just go get it, and, like, we understand at any given moment it could be taken from us, so we got to understand, like, we got to stay in the moment, be blessed with where we are.
That is true with it, man. So let's go. Since we already around here with everything, we kind of hit on both of it.
Okay.
Where did this love, I'm going to just say love for sports, because you did say you played 5 sports, and then it just trickled to, all right, baseball is just where it's at.
Right. So
where did break that down to me?
So growing up, Pops was heavily involved with park and rec around here. My oldest brother, DJ, used to live with us, and we had got a house down Ramsey Street, and our house used to literally be backyard all the way to the street. So we probably had easy over 100 yards of just grass.
Oh, crazy.
And I just remember growing up, like, it was never a day where we weren't outside playing. Like, it was basketball, it was wiffle ball, it was football, soccer, like, all of it. So the love for sports was out the womb. Like, we was already immersed into it. And then for me, it was middle school, got to my 8th grade year. I played 5 sports. So I ran track, baseball, basketball, football, and soccer. Did all that.
Man.
And then high school, I was like, man, like, soccer and baseball were it for me. And soccer, honestly, my first love.
Really?
To the day I die.
I play a little FIFA now, so.
Hey, like, I was on that heavy. Yeah, so soccer was my first love. So did 3 years of that in high school, 3 years of baseball. Obviously didn't get to play my senior year because I had got surgery. But, yeah, soccer, like, to this day. Like, I won 2 player of the years in high school.
Wow.
Like, I was loving soccer. Had scholarships to go play in college. It was a lot.
I ain't never noticed this.
Yeah.
This is just surprising to me, man. Wow.
Yeah, it was the best. But I knew baseball for me. I think baseball, as much as I love soccer, baseball was always the one, like, I couldn't sleep without it. Like, it was like I needed to go play ball. Like, it was just like, it was me. And it was like a family thing, though. Like, it was Grant played. My dad was the coach. Like, that was our way to pass time together. Yeah. So it's always been that.
I can just imagine that, like everybody, Sunday football coming up, boy. I love it.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
hey,
I love
look,
it. I missed it so bad, boy. I never missed, like, I football and basketball, like basketball, that's every day. Yep. I'll probably do that more than podcasting. But it's like, man, like, I don't know, sports is just like the team. I think that's one thing people, like, that's not in athletics, they don't understand. Like, if they don't play for school, bro. Even just going down the street and hooping or whatever.
Right.
The team effort and the chemistry of it is so beautiful, bro.
My thing is, like, I think the main thing with sports, I fell in love with seeing others, like, getting pushed to a level they didn't know. You know what I'm saying? The same thing with me, like, seeing somebody on your team who started at possibly wasn't the best player or being able to have something, and then, like, seeing their success, seeing the way they work, and now, like, they get a whole different motivation. Like, that to me is the best thing in the world. And I think that's like the purest form of love. It's like seeing your people's getting put on. Like, I love that.
Especially since you cool Kobe too. It's just like, man, just even now it's like, all right, granted they was a little older than you, but it's like y'all really had a community. Now really I'm sitting thinking about it when Grant had Grant on and I had Kobe on, and they was just explaining to me, like, I don't know, y'all Pine Forest boys, y'all a little different.
It was I remember literally being picked up in middle school by Kobe and Grant, and they're like, yo, what you finna do? I'm like, go to the crib and eat. They like, nah, we going to the field. Like, so I loved every second of it, like riding around, and I thought I was a celebrity. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I can see
it. 7th grade at a high school party, they're like, oh, look, Ike, look. I'm like, man, this is the life, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? But when it was time to get down to business, we knew what it was. Like, when it was time to step on that field, we wore that PF with a proud. You know what I'm saying? We was going. We was putting on.
Granted, you had them. But as far as, like, your confidence when did you realize, like, you was just nice, like, at what you was doing? Because, like, granted, they always say, like, Lonzo went into the league. Lonzo, he did his thing. Right. But LeVar always was like, yo, LaMelo coming. Right. I don't know what y'all, like, y'all better realize the youngest one is the nice one. So where did that come into play? Like, yo, I'm kind of nice at this. Like, I got a head start of people.
So for me, like, when I was younger, I'd probably say like 8 to like 11. Like, I was average, like nothing crazy. Like, I just played. I knew, like, I was like, all right, well, I want to play baseball. I've always wanted to play pro ball, but like, I think it was just like the accumulation of like work. So like me and my dad and Grant being at the field till like 11 o'clock at night. My mom driving to pick us up. Like, mom coming to get us saying, y'all got to come home and eat. Y'all got homework. Like, I think once I hit about 14, like, that's when I, like, in 8th grade, I realized, I was like, okay, I'm a little bit taller, I'm a little bit faster, I throw a little bit harder, I hit a little bit farther. And then the real test was probably my freshman year of high school when I got to play with Grant, and I was on varsity and got to play short and pitch and, like, held my own, like, did really, really well, ended up batting second at the end of the year. So that's when I knew. And then that first offer my freshman year. Wow. Right away. Like, right as soon as summer started, went down to Florida, got my first offer.
Was you even, like, was that, like, I don't know how that works. So does it, like, come in the mail? Do they, like, call you? Like,
man, it was me, my mom, and my little sister in Florida, and I was at a USA like baseball just tryout. Didn't think I had no chance because I never was ranked. I'm from like being here, like we didn't know none of that. Like I would hear through Kobe like, yo, this is where you need to go. So my dad was like, all right, bet, this is how you do it. Just went down messing around, play, and it was just like, hey, this the coach from Pitt want to call you. I'm like, Pitt, like community college or like Pitt,
like you talking about like
University of Pittsburgh. They're like, no, the University of Pitt, like just watch you pitch, and he wants you to call him. So called him up. I'm like, all right, you know what I'm saying? I'm not even really paying attention. Like I'm kind of already dozed off. Like I done played 2 games. My mom's listening hard, and he's like, yeah, you know, we want to give you a full scholarship. And I didn't hear it. My mom goes, oh my God. So I'm like, what just happened? He's like, yeah, son, like, you know what I'm saying? Like we see a lot with you. We really want you to be
Is that 14 freshman year?
15.
15 okay.
15 years old.
But still like freshman year, like just coming into it.
Yeah, so just finished up my freshman year of baseball. Wow. So I'm like, this is crazy. And at that point, they just came rolling in. It was Miami. It was Florida. It was, Tennessee, Duke, Carolina, State. Like, everybody after that, I was just like, yo.
You know, as a Duke fan, if I had known you better, I'd be like, hey,
look,
listen.
Man.
Listen. It's the dark. I know light blue look good, but dark blue is a little better.
And I'm going to let you in on a secret, too. I always grew up a Duke fan. Like, I got a Duke mat in front of my room.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
But I was like, for me, I felt like my best option was at Carolina. But obviously, you know what I'm saying? Things turned out the way they do. But I feel like with the world's rejection, it was just God's protection. So at that point, I was like, okay, I understand now. Like, I'm starting to understand. But at 18, you couldn't tell me that, especially at 15. You couldn't tell me nothing at 15. Like, I already did what most people in the world couldn't do. You know what I'm saying? I did Team USA. Like got to travel to Chicago, play in all these pro ballparks. And I was like, bro, I'm on top of the world. There's no way I could fall. And God humbled me. And God had to humble me.
And that's where the comeback always comes to. It's like, man, get to that highest height. Take it. Not saying you took it for granted, but like people take it for granted. Then they come down and it's like, all right, when I get back up there, I can't do what I did again. Yep. And I think everybody has to go through that lesson in life, even if you look at somebody else or if you go through it yourself. Right. So it's just part of life.
That's it. And I'm like, now looking back, bro, I'm so blessed that happened.
Really?
I'm so much happier that it did happen because I wouldn't know how to deal with it. Like, if I would have been able to take the money being drafted, and I think it's also like my parents, I think my dad used to give himself a really hard time because he saw how the college stuff had went for me. He was like, maybe when you got drafted, we should have just taken the money. I'm like, nah, like this is meant to happen, Pop. Like we can't keep looking in the past. Like the past has gotten me to this point. Yeah. I said past decision, but I said, but now we learn, we adjust, we motivate, and we keep moving on. And it's bigger than me. And that's also something at 15 I couldn't realize. Yeah. I struggled with that. I felt like everything had to be circled around me, but nah, like it's way bigger than me. Like now being able to help out kids here in the city, like when my dad coached, I love it. I love it.
It's it does something that I don't think a lot of people realize. Like granted, when I was growing up, I grew up off the Merc, over there by West area and all that. Went to Nick Gerald's, went to Hope Mills, for a little bit, came back to Smith. But it's like, man, we ain't having nothing to do around here. It was nothing but Utah. That's it. Go to the mall, walk around. Oh, yeah, we got a curfew now. All right, we can't go to the mall. Right. Skating ring played out. Yeah. What do we do? Right. House parties. And what's going around? House parties. Everybody want to fight. Everybody want to, we know what our city is.
Of course.
Of course. But it's like, now it's like we got so many different people. And, of course, we're going to get into the 2-6 project. We have to. Man. Oh, my God, bro. I'm so proud of everything that's going on with that. Right. But it's like it's outlets now.
There's different ways to get stuff done. Yeah. I know for me, like it was – obviously, we grew up probably around different times and everything, but for me in the city, it was everybody was now finally realizing, like, we really do have some of the best athletes to offer. So, like, now it's like, okay, yeah, well, we need to get him here. Yep. Like, we need to protect these kids. Like, these are our assets for our city. As much as everything else happens, all the violence, all the whatever else, these kids need to be protected. And that's also, like, now you get the 2-6 project, and that's where I remember, like, walking into Grant's room, and Grant just had paper on the wall in like high school. Really? He already had it. He already had it written out, bro. Wow. He already had it written out. He won't tell you that, but I will. He already had 2-6 project written out.
That's crazy.
This is like his senior year of high school, bro. And I'm sitting here looking at him. I'm kind of at this point. Everybody in our family is well educated. I'm kind of the jock of the family. I'm talking about What you got? What you doing? Like what you finna do? He like, oh yeah, these are future plans that I want to have. I'm like, all right, whatever, bro. And then I hop on the sticks. I'm playing 2K.
2 years, like, I hear you, bro. Like, you know, good luck with it. You know? So since we're talking about the 2-6 project, since we're already here with it,
okay.
And you literally saw the beginning of it,
right?
So where it's at now, just how does that I don't want to say how does it feel? That seems so like just basic, but it's just like, man, you've seen something from nothing to, and I keep telling Grant, this is the biggest thing in the city.
I agree.
Like
full-heartedly.
He won't say it.
Like wholeheartedly, I agree all the way.
This man, if this was here 10 years ago, bro, I think I would have been in a completely different space.
I feel you. Just and like, I think from seeing it, from me being 15 to 21 now, bro, most of the work was done, I feel like, when he was at college, obviously. So when he came back home because of COVID, he was always just on the computer. He was always watching stuff. He was like, bro, I need to get this. Like, I need to do that. And me being the kind of whatever, bro. Like, you, hey,
like,
look,
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but I was like, bro, like, I believe in it. Like, my thing is, because there's one thing about Grant, and Grant kind of reminds me, honestly, if people ask me, I compare Grant to like P. Diddy.
I can see it.
Because there's like I be watching the P. Diddy motivational stuff. Like, you can't tell me I can't do something. Like, I'm the greatest. Like, it's that. But Grant is that humble confidence. He won't tell you that. But he loves when he puts his mind to something, it's going to get done. And it's going to be done in a very, very efficient way.
If you just put a camera on him for like a day, so many gems that he'll drop, just do some IG reels.
Come on,
now. Be up there,
it's
10 million
ridiculous.
followers.
It's ridiculous. Like, so I'm like, people see Grant in that way, and I see Grant. He the clown, bro. He a clown with me. You know what I'm saying? You see it too. But when you see the 2-6 project, like we had the first event with Vic, and I'm just like, all right, like this is dope. You know what I'm saying? We in the back in Hope Mills. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, we kicking it. Grant called me, hey, bro, we at Segra next year. I said, quit playing, bro. Now you pull up the line wrapped around the whole downtown was locked down, bro. And I'm like, there's no way, you know what I'm saying?
It took me so long to get in there. I'm like, I know people that's working this, but I'm like, I ain't about to say to make no calls.
Got
like
you.
Let me go. I ain't nobody.
Look, you about to say you should have called us, bro. We would have got you in quick. But that line was crazy.
That line was,
and like we was running. Bro, it was 30 degrees out there, and I'm sweating because that's how much work we was putting in. But I'm like, seeing the way a city can come together over this stuff, and seeing the way like taking the kids to the Dreamville Festival when Grant had that was beautiful. Bro, them kids when they saw Lil Baby, you know what I'm saying? Like the emotion, like that right there, bro. I'm about to get emotional now talking about it. But like it's crazy. Like it's crazy the impact that you can have when you do stuff in the city and have it like executed in the right way. It doesn't always have to be bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? And now kids are being even more with the sports, even more like learning themselves, like creative design. Like he partnered with you remember Wise Mind? Yep. So now they did T-shirts for the kids. They got backpacks coming out. Like,
see that? I'm about to say I saw that, but they don't. We'll be out by the time this come out.
And I'm
like,
telling Grant, I told Grant with the 2-6 project, the jackets we got. I said stop playing.
I told him.
I said put them on the market.
I told him, listen. I told him this a year ago. I need one. Yeah. I will pay for whatever it needs.
I told him. I said, brother, people need that. And he's like, yeah, but I'm like, yeah. I mean, you can hold it like safe, but Grant,
you gotta do at least a different design
come
for
on,
like
right.
whoever.
I said
bro.
The city need that though. Like we need this. So like even now the basketball event, like for them kids to see June,
go crazy.
Come on, bro. Like now it's like, yo, like. It's always harder when you've never seen somebody or been able to like obtain it because you can't touch it. You know what I'm saying? But like now you see it, you've been around him, you get to see like, bro, I can do that. I can go to the NBA. And not even the fact that going to the NBA, I can do anything I put my mind to. And that's the goal. Like it's only crazy until you do it.
And I think that's the biggest thing. Like we didn't have nobody that obviously Cole, Affion Crockett or whatever like that. But it's like no shade or nothing. They ain't come back here and really hear a little here and there stuff, but like how things is going now, like it's an incubator. Our podcast, this is gonna be on Revolt or something. This is like
I agree.
Kid down the street, like, I could just talk. Well, you could say I just could just talk and make millions and all that stuff. I mean, I put the work in.
Right.
It's always you have to put the work in at the end of the day, but it's man, you can do it. You just know somebody.
Right.
You could DM me. I ain't nobody famous.
I'll be doing the same. I'll be telling all the people now, like, whenever I be having kids or whatever with my dad, like, talking, playing ball, they be like, can I follow you? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to follow you right back, bro. Because, like, you got to experience that. You got to feel that. Like, there's a little kid, Reggie Marshall. I'm telling you right now, he the next one.
I gotta have more.
He
And that's what I want.
He the next
I
one.
want more. Granted, I'm getting people like I'm building relationships up in the city, but I want to get like up and coming kids and be like, yo, do you know like what's coming? Like this is gonna be every day for you. So we just having a conversation, we chilling, but when you get into the media, it ain't gonna be like that.
Nah, not at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna start taking your words, misplacing it. Now they're gonna try and portray you as this. But I'm telling you right now, this little kid Reggie.
Nah, tap me in with him for
boy.
real.
I ain't never seen it. I ain't gonna lie. He worked twice as hard as I did at his age. No lie. But he loves it. Like, it's not hard work. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, oh, wake up, 50 push-ups. Like, he just doing stuff. Always out the field. So, yeah, I'm gonna tap you in with him though.
Nah, for
no
sure.
cap.
As far as networking, because a lot of people don't. I feel like you're more game to it than people, because obviously you've been around a lot of different people and you in different rooms and everything.
Right.
But you have your own podcast. I do. That is really good.
Yeah.
That is like really. I'm can tell you, and I've told you, I'm proud of it.
Appreciate you.
Like from episode 1 and on, I'm like, okay, production is there, intro. It's like everything I didn't know is like you hitting it out the park.
Right.
And that's why I told you, anything you need, any questions, whatever, let me know.
Got you. Yeah.
There's no point in me holding on to it. You know, even the little things like whatever.
Right.
If you need whatever is needed. So man, how did that come about?
So Grant's roommate in college is Kalen Ashford Jones, and he works now with MLB Network. I believe he's now the youth content coordinator for MLB Develops. So all the kid camps, all the stuff they do, like the Hank Aaron Invitationals, he gets to travel, he gets to shoot, he makes the content for it.
Oh, that's dope.
So at the time, he was the one, like every highlight that would come on like MLB Network, he was working on those stuff. Like you see Tim Anderson late at night, like 1 in the morning. Kalen was a part of that staff doing that stuff. Even got nominated, I believe. What is that? Like an Oscar or anything, like Oscar or Grammy. Like he was a part of that executive cast. So I was telling Grant, and I was talking to Grant, and I was just like, yo, like, even though I'm not playing baseball for the year, like, I have to find some way to stay involved and do something in the game. And Kalen had hit Grant up and was like, yo, how do you feel about Ike doing this podcast with me? And Grant was like, I'm all for it as long as he keeps his grades up and he do all his stuff. Kind of like he already getting that dad type figure,
but even as a brother, saying that,
he was just making sure it looked out for me. So Kalen hit me with it over Christmas break, and then we always, that promo video, we shot that, I believe, in March, because Kalen was traveling down to meet up with Grant in Atlanta for like a convention for Morehouse and stuff. So shot that, and right away, like my phone, I don't think I've never had my phone blow up like that. Like it was just like, yo, I want to get on. Like, yo, I got a story to tell. Yo, this is dope, bro. Like people already hitting us up. Like we had our first sponsor in like a week.
Wow, see, and that's a blessing.
Just like that. That first one though, I was so scared, bro. I was like, bro, and even though we just sitting on the computer talking on Zoom or whatever, and it also helped though. Our first person, I was like, yo, and this is God looking out. I'm like, bro, I got a friend named Mike Harris, and he's in Atlanta. Like he won minor league player this past year. I was like, yo, like let me put him on. He comes on, bro. 2 months later, that boy just got called up to the big leagues. He the starting center fielder for the Braves.
That's crazy.
So now it's like, okay, we can put that down with us, like, and use him the same way he can use us. And like, yo, Mike, we gonna get you back on too. So once we do this joint live in person, like, hopefully we could pull up to Atlanta, be in Truist Field or something, and do it like that. You know what I'm saying? And
that's big moves right there,
bro. And the game needs that. Like baseball already doesn't have enough black people, so now that's how we felt like we could give back to the game. And being able to let people tell their stories, bro. There's so many people out here who have such a narrative that could change somebody's life. Why not? Why are we holding that away?
Somebody got to do it, and y'all doing it.
And that's why we trying. So this next season gonna be coming out. We're gonna be ready for that. We're gonna have about 5-6 episodes for that. We're gonna do the executive part. We're gonna have the MLB people in the commissioner's office and everything, being able to talk behind the scenes with baseball, putting more people on game. That's it. Just chopping it up.
No pun intended.
Nah, shameless plug all the way. I'm going all in.
Hey,
I'm going all in. But we just trying, man. And it's actually something I have a passion with now. Like loving to talk. Always watching, like I love poetry, bro. Like
really?
I love listening to like spoken words, and like I love that. Love that stuff. So being able to have conversation, hear people's narratives, hear people's stories, like it sets off a thing for me, and I love it.
That's good. This is a question. I'll be having questions, of course, always. But this is one, it may throw you off, it may not, before we get into Put Me on a Minute. Because I feel like it pertains to you. But
Okay.
what do you feel like you had to sacrifice to get to where you're at? I was talking to Rico, and I asked him that, and he had to really sit. I edited it out, but he had to sit for a little bit and really think about it. Like, I know I didn't sacrifice the past 3 years since, what you want to say, December 2019. I didn't brought the setup to the family events, to edit, to hey, cool, all right, cool, hey, I'll go edit for an hour.
Right.
Like, I done missed family events, I done missed things I'm like regularly at. It's like less and less and less I'm able to be there. Like, yeah, we doing this. So even friends, it's just like, dang, you always saying you working.
Right.
I want it that bad.
Right.
So where do you feel like you had to, like, if you got a story, if you got a situation that you want to just share?
I think growing up, I sacrificed in terms of friendships and time being able to be a kid. I obviously that joint happened so fast. Like, my high school experience, bro, literally was I'd be at school, and let's see, from August to maybe the end of October, like every other weekend, I'm still traveling to Florida. Like, I'm still traveling the country. Like, I didn't have, my summers were taken away from me, but not because I didn't choose that, though. Yeah. So coming back to school in like August, you know what I'm saying? Like, catching up with your boys, your homegirls and everything, like, they had hung out all summer. Like, I'm getting FaceTime calls, but like, I'm still traveling. I'm in LA. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in Florida, I'm in Chicago, like, I'm traveling, I'm in Charlotte, like, I'm not here. So once I got injured and I had my senior year, it took me probably that first month to like get out my funk or whatever, and realize, like, yo, like, this is God telling me, like, hey son, it's time for you to slow down. Like, this life stuff is hitting you pretty quick, and you getting exposed to a lot, but now I got to be a kid. Like, I got to go to all the football games, all the basketball games, and I loved every second of it because I knew it wasn't going to be long. Like, it wasn't going to be a long time. We all get to go our own ways, but sacrificing that, and just in general relationships with people, like, I really felt like, honestly, I couldn't give myself to all myself to certain things because, like, some people just didn't understand. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like what Kobe says, like, people don't understand me, like, mentally sometimes, and it frustrates me because, like, I'm telling you right now, like, you may be upset because we not finna hang out all the time. Like, I'm not finna be doing this or that because, like, I got stuff I got to do because this is what I've always wanted to do. Like, this is my commitment to myself. And a lot of people couldn't understand that. And even now, like, my friend group from high school, like, my same 3 or 4 like day one boys, like, I talk to them now, but like, outside of that immediate circle, it's not what it is no more, and that's okay. And I'm fine with that. Like, that's
part of growing up too, though. Right. I understand what you're saying, but trust me, as you get older, it's just like, hey, bro, like,
it is what it is. And like I'm cool. I've gotten to the point, like, I'm cool with being alone. Like, I'm at peace being alone. Like, I don't need to be in these rooms all the time. I don't want to have to show face everywhere I go. I love it. Like, I like the private life. Like, I'm good now.
I'm just, I hear it and I understand. A lot of people may not understand hearing that. Right. But I don't think, and there's no disrespect to anybody listening, of course. But
live your life.
I don't think a lot of people don't understand what it takes to be great.
Right.
Like, you're gonna have to give up a lot to get there. Now, in the end, is it worth it or not? That's only for you to answer.
Exactly.
Because if you don't reach there, you know, anything happens in life. But if you don't reach there, it's like, dang, did I do enough?
Right.
But if you do get there, it's like, all right, did I do too much?
Right. And I think that's kind of with me. That's where I fell in. Once I got to college and stuff didn't turn out the way it worked, that's when I hit, like, my lowest point. Like, I was suffering with depression. I had anxiety. I had to seek mental therapy. By the way,
please do.
Please. I'm letting y'all know now, you are not weak. If you need therapy, if you need help, please, because we don't want to see anybody end up committing suicide, going crazy.
Especially us.
You know what I'm saying? Please, bro. Please. We love you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we love everybody. Go get help, bro, if you need it. And that's like, well, I remember crying myself to sleep because I couldn't play ball. Like, didn't want to talk to nobody. Like me and my dad, even to the point like we was butting heads back and forth about it. But like it was a lot, man. Like it was just a lot, and I felt like looking back, I didn't realize the amount of stuff that was actually thrown on me. Like at such a young age. And it's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to overcome. And especially when things don't turn out right away or you don't get that success right as soon as you step on that campus, it's like, oh, and I could hear the noise. Like I remember, bro, I had random people calling me, like random 910 numbers, like, you not playing ball no more? Oh, yeah, you was like, I remember this.
Wow.
Like crazy stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm blocking people's numbers and stuff because I don't see how they talk. I'm 18.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a lot.
Like,
That's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot, bro. Man. Yeah, but it's all for the better, though. Like, I learned now. I had to readjust. I had to reevaluate. And now I got my plan. I can go with my design, and I'm able to execute. And I'm good.
That's beautiful, man.
Yep.
Well, we got this thing on the Put Me On Game podcast called Put Me On a Minute.
All right.
People been getting it done under a minute, but it's been a real struggle the past 2.5 years of getting people to say whatever they want to say. Okay. Get it off your chest. It don't matter what it is, but you got a minute.
A minute.
Go crazy.
Ooh. All right. It's okay to be different. It's okay to embrace things that other people around you may not understand or may not want to be a part of. Finding yourself, I feel like honestly requires a lot of isolation and a lot of time to be able to reflect on past decisions, to be able to make better future decisions. I feel like for each person to really maximize who they are, you have to understand like the circle you with, but more importantly, like your inner peace. You got to be able to understand like what things you can give and what things you can take away from each person, be able to adjust and move forward. So, it's okay to be you. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, bro. Be you to the fullest and love yourself first. Love yourself and love God. And then at that point, I feel like God will put you in the right situations in due time for you to be able to maximize. Is that a minute?
It was. But man, I ain't even gonna say it. I'm not. You sound like your brother. I'm just like, it's just the whole family, bro. Y'all just, oh man.
Yeah, man.
It's so prolific, man.
I love it, man. Yeah. That's just all we do, bro. Like, it's just, honestly, bro, that's my mom and my dad. Like, that's just them to the fullest extent. Mm-hmm. Even my grandma, she live with us now. You know what I'm saying? She be dropping gems once in a while whenever she not watching her Family Feud.
Oh, yeah, bro.
I'll be locked in, too, though. I love Family Feud.
Since Steve took over, bro, it's been
crazy. I've been watching Shark Tank a lot lately. Oh, yeah. Trying to learn about some stuff. Boy, my boy Mark Cuban be getting on them people, too, though.
That's sleeping. People, hey, man.
I love
people
it.
Be sleeping, man.
The shows be putting on game right there. No cap.
Nah, for real. Trust me, it's a lot.
Oh, yeah. You can learn a lot from just sitting there if you watching the right stuff, too. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
We're going to get it, man. But this is another episode of Put Me On Game podcast. We out.